Because of it, he's made a positive impact on the lives of residents in and around Akron. The International Economic Development Council is proud to present its 2008 Leadership Award for Public Service to Mayor Don Plusquellic. Please join me.
I am truly honored, sincerely honored to receive this award, but I must say that part of what Bill didn't talk about was the collective effort that it really takes in a city the size of Akron and most of your communities to be able to get anything done, and I've been very fortunate to have such a wonderful group of people, and I want to begin by thanking them and saying that this really is accepted on behalf of all the individuals who have worked so hard, and I appreciate so much the International Economic Development Council for what they do with their members to spread the word and talk about the important issues of the day and learn. But I really wouldn't have had the successes without people who are here with me. Bob Bowman, who used to work for the Chamber, and I was fortunate to attract him out of the Chamber and into the position of Deputy Mayor for Economic Development, and Adele Roth, who we were able to persuade to come out of the planning department and stop planning and actually do things. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Economic development people do things, you know. Planners are good, but it's good to plan and then actually execute on those plans. And actually, we have some great executioners. If that's the word. A little joke there too. One of the best things and really smartest things I ever did was when I became mayor 22 years ago, without ever wanting to be. Our mayor ran for Congress. Was I developed a relationship with our Regional Development Board, now our Greater Akron Chamber. And it really has paid off in so many ways because we coordinate our efforts, we share ideas, and Dan Colantone is here, head of our chamber. I appreciate very much his being here, and Becky, your help and guidance, especially keeping Bob out of trouble, is very important. But there's probably something else beyond that that is somewhat unique in Akron, and that is the level of cooperation between the governmental units. We just saved about 3,100 jobs, the corporate headquarters of Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, and another 1,100 with real competition for Bridgestone Firestone research and development. And it would not have been possible without the great relationship we have with Summit County and Russ Pryor, County Executive. Chris Burnham is here from the County Port Authority, and our state, Lee Fisher and his help in bringing state recognition of the importance of keeping both of those major corporations, not only for the jobs, but really they are iconic symbols almost of what Akron has been and the evolution that Akron has become into more polymers and materials. It's still important that we're recognized as a major place for significant businesses to be headquartered. And so I could not have possibly have had those successes that you heard about without the participation of those individuals. But I want to just go off maybe a little bit here tonight if I could. And I'm not going to talk about the political campaign, although I could stand here for a good while and talk about that probably and my belief about what we need. But I want to thank all of you, the professionals in this group, for continuing to do the hard work that's really necessary. And if I were to make 4 points that I think are important for all of us, if we're going to see a recovery and meet the competition that I think is probably the greatest in the history of our country. It is professionals, you, doing the kinds of things that are necessary, but beyond that, we have to educate people in our communities and across this country why your work is so important. So many people think that it just happens, you know, those jobs move and they come and they go and various things happen, but we're in such a worldwide competition that what you do is vitally important, whether people understand it or not, and it's part of your job to educate them on why it's important. I also believe that one of the great things about this organization, and it's helped me, I can't get to every meeting, but when I come to a meeting, And when I go to other meetings like the Conference of Mayors, I learn from everyone else. And mayors have this great way of stealing ideas and bringing it back home and putting our name on it as if we came up with the idea. But a lot of times it is a little twist on something you've done that really helps us come up with something to solve a problem or deal with an issue. And I would say that Akron is probably the leader in the country, and many of you claim this, nice people and nice homes or whatever other things we claim, but we're probably the most collaborative city in the country. And it is important that we reach out to our neighbors, people across borders, because we are not competing with each other. We're competing with the world. And if we don't figure that out, that metropolitan areas need to come together and compete for the good of all of us in this country, God help us. China can move 1 million people because they want to build a dam. Now, you can argue about that. You can talk about, whether the EPA should have gone in there and done a study, which they always require, or whether there ought to be 10,000 hearings that should have been held so that everybody received their fair share. Maybe that's true. But that is the fact of life that we all face. And in our country, we have a battle to the bottom, I would argue, about state legislatures trying to pass obstructionist legislation concerning eminent domain for legitimate business projects that business people want, and here we are trying to deliver and having the difficulty of overcoming those ideologues out there. So we need to cooperate, work together, and collaborate. And I just urge all of you to continue to work together to be able to really show the importance of what we all do for how it relates to the average person. I want to talk one last thing, if I could, about the future. And I would hope that I come back someday and be able to give as good a speech as Paul did at 92 years old. Maybe I'll get a lifelong, award for serving that long, because I think he did a great job of talking about some of the things that led to our success. But you need to be involved in pushing our federal government to recognize, I don't care what your politics, I don't care who you're supporting or you don't support anyone. But the federal government has a role to play to recognize the competition that's worldwide and to bring the resources necessary to help us strategize and to help us deliver on what is needed to move our country ahead. And individual communities can't do it alone anymore. And we can't allow Youngstown, Ohio to just fend for themselves while another part of the country survives and is successful, because those things go up and down. And we're all Americans. I hope that you will join the U.S. Conference of Mayors and others to really push the next president, the next Congress, to create a stimulus package for our American communities. We've done it for Wall Street. We're spending more money right now helping Iraqi cities, and I don't care how you feel about that. You can feel strongly for or against. I don't care. What we need to do is have a federal government that recognizes the importance, and that requires voices like yours, the professionals in this room, to come out and join with us, all of us. I pledge any way that I can as mayor and former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors to help with this organization, to help interface. If you need me to call your mayor to tell him why it might be important to join this organization, let me know, because I think the world of Jeff Finkel. And the only thing I want to close with, and I hope that you folks in Atlanta will understand this, I'm a competitor at heart, and I'm an economic development person. It's become 60% of my job. And for any of you ever happen to need water, come to Akron, Ohio.